Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. Today's video we have the 123rd flyover of the Lucid, fly around of the Lucid factory. Got to be accurate there because we're not doing flyovers. All right, so we got a bunch of people on already. We got about 30 people on. We got 22 likes and we got a super chat already. Thank you, Fasal, for that. I appreciate your support. Little couple comments. Already on the chat talking about the Sapphire and how cool it looks, and I do think it's a cool looking car. I think it's great that it's a tri-motor, but I think the time right now is to focus on production, and that is all I want to see. Last thing I want to see right now is just new product announcements. It's not encouraging to see product announcements. I think car people are excited about the car already. They want to see the car and not things that are coming out in a year or two. And just me personally, I would rather see more production. And that's all I want to see right now. I don't want to see stealth mode. I don't want to see Sapphire right now. I want to see cars getting delivered, and that is what is more important than anything. The only thing that Stealth and Sapphire are going to do is increase some pre-orders. I mean, Stealth will, but $250,000 for the Sapphire. I mean, how many orders is that going to generate? Honestly, it's going to be a limited edition anyway, so let's say it's like the Dream Edition and there's 500 of them. I mean, yeah, I understand that's a decent amount of money, but they can't produce the cars that they have orders for right now in volume, so that needs to happen. So, just like Ollie says, pump more cars. Day Trader says, I agree with you 100%. They need to step it up with production. Barry Schwartz says 100%. So, yeah, production. I think when Tesla was going through their production hell and with the Model 3, there was a lot of talk about production and what they're doing and to improve things and just keeping people in the loop, keep people excited with production numbers and whatever it takes to get these cars out. So that's where I'm at on it. Ben picked up more Lucid today because Lucid was down, but everything was down. Let's take a look at the stock and keep people. Oh wow, we got 77 people on. Nice, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let's just take a quick overview of the Lucid stock for today, ending the weekend on a Friday. Let's see. Previous close was 1823, and it opened today at 1798. The high was 1799. It was all downhill today, except for that tiny little spike. Low was 1669. It closed 6 cents off of that at 1675. Down $1.48, 8.12% for the day. For you Nikola freaks out there, Nikola did not fare much better today. Down 9%. Closed at $6 a share. Was down as low as $5.97. So, just to be fair, everybody was down. Tesla was down 2%, $18. Ford was down 27 cents, just almost a little bit more than 1.5%. Polestar was down too, 20 cents a share, over 2%. So yeah, everybody was down. So it was just one of those days. If you're a buyer, you buy the dip. All right. And I have not been in front of the computer to see what the news was out there. We were down because of Rivian canceling pre-orders. I haven't been able to even catch up on any news yet today. Boss USA says load. And I'm going to say let's go to the tape. Oh, look, we're snuck ahead. We were running in the background. All right, going to the beginning. That was just a tease, wasn't it? Sorry, guys. Boss bought Nikola and Lucid today. I bought some Nikola today also. Picked up 1,000 shares at 610. So that's what I did today. That press like button smashed. Boss USA says next comes the 4-motor 1,400 horsepower. Yeah, at $500,000. All right, as far as the construction goes, we can see here we are on the east side. You can see all this construction. What I want you guys to notice here, where my mouse is, just take a look at what's going on over there in that corner on the left side. They have got that road torn up. It's going to be that way. They are widening this road for Lucid. This was part of the deal with Casa Grande, was that this road would be redone, and I believe it's going to be at least 2 lanes each way, probably a center divider of some sort, or a chicken lane that they typically put in Arizona, where you've got one middle lane that goes both ways, and it's called the chicken lane, because when you have 2 cars get into it at the same time, like they're doing this, and then you play chicken with the oncoming cars. Now over here, this is the south side. This is the SKD building. You can see they've laid asphalt over here. This area right here and this area right here all looks like it's ready for asphalt. Not this area though. Doesn't have the last bit of aggregate, neither does this area right here. But these are parking lots, employee parking lots, and this would be a road, a future road right here. Not that it would lead to anywhere, so this is not going to be worked on right now. This area could be opened up for parking. I don't know how far along this building is, but this building right here is ahead of all the other buildings. So when things start to open up, I would expect this one to open up before anything else, if for nothing else other than storage. Maybe they're going to have a decent amount of employees down here and they need some parking lot space, or maybe this is just how they plan to do it. But obviously this is getting done over here. And on the bottom you can see everything is all torn up. There is no road there. That used to be a road. We used to park like right over here. Sean says, you don't think that they can multitask? Right, move Lucid when they start to hit on all cylinders, it will all come together. I do think that they can multitask, but I think it's a really bad look. It's sort of like Trevor Milton announcing 10 different products and nothing was out. There's a time to focus on certain things. If you're bleeding money, I don't know. Elon Musk and Tesla said earlier this year, late last year, that there's going to be no product announcements this year because they are working on production. That's what they need to do. They need to get on production and focus on Giga Berlin, Giga Texas, Giga Shanghai. All of them are increasing production. That is their main concern right now. And I didn't like that at first because I wanted to see more products come out, but in the long run, it makes sense. So going over here, this is more of the area which employee parking, future employee parking. You can see there's still a lot of activity going on. We cannot see what's inside, of course, but in some places it actually looks like they're working on the parking lot. In other places they're just storing stuff. Though there used to be a lot more materials in these areas, and that stuff has moved. A lot of the areas look like this right here. You can see they're storing materials here, and some stray metal that probably goes over here. This is the line where the cars are going to be going from. This is the paint tunnel. So car bodies are going to come through here, and then slide on through, and then hang a right up here, or just about right here, where this crane is. There's columns that have been poured. It's going to go right into the side of this building right here. Let's see what other comments we got here. The type of people who bought the Plaid will buy Sapphire. Plaid will be yesterday's news. Elon is probably going to push release for Roadster, and the Roadster is going to end up being faster than the Sapphire, but they are two different cars. One is a Roadster, and one is obviously a four-door sedan. And remember, Tesla had plans for a Plaid Plus. Uh, Eventually, they canceled it because they said it did not make sense. Um, Whether it was going to cost too much, or the difference in speed, what you're going to get for the cost. Maybe that was the reasons. I don't remember the exact reasons. But this is, in a sense, would be a competitor to a Plaid Plus. We'll just have to see if there's really a market for it, because it's already been said by Lucid that this will be a limited edition. So if we're talking 500 cars, I know it's a decent amount of money, but at the same time, this is not going to make or break the company. Neither is the Stealth. I do like the look of the Stealth. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But I just would like to see some focus on production. And I'm sure that they think they are focused, but something is still not working right. Debt Prez, I hope they can find a way to drive down their manufacturing costs, lower prices to consumers. This is going to be critical for increasing adoption rate. Just my humble opinion. I agree with that opinion. If you look at worldwide sales of companies like Mercedes over the last 10 years, or Porsche, Audi, any of the higher end luxury brands, they don't make millions of cars. Maybe Sprinters, but they don't put out millions and millions of cars. Granted, their quality is a lot better. These cars take longer to make. But if you want Lucid to be a top tier player in the auto market, they need to have cars that are in the lower price range also. Barry Schwartz, Lucid Air Sapphire will be offered as a limited production model. They won't make many via the press release. That's what I read. And Peter will hand make them himself. Okay, well, as long as they get done. Day Trader says, I think Peter should step down as CEO. Lucid needs a better CEO to run the business. I'm not going to comment on that. Not at this point. Maybe I will. There are probably people who can do better at this, and maybe Peter's forte is more of an engineering thing. So they've made a nice car that still needs some things fixed. Anyway, here's our cars, and here's our car haulers. There are 3 car haulers there. That means they can get 18 cars out on those 3 haulers if they load them up. So that's 18 cars. But if you run the numbers, somebody mentioned early on in the chat, I'll pause this here because I just want to throw some numbers at you. Let's see. T said we need 5 haulers every day to make 6K. We only need to make 5K to reach the goal, because we've already got there's been more than 1,000 produced, and there was 1,400 produced. Assuming those get delivered, it was at the end of second quarter. So maybe they've made another 500. Maybe it was 1,400 was the total. So let's say they need to make 4,500 cars. Produce and deliver 4,500 cars. So where are we at with 4,500 cars? How many there's 20 weeks left in the year. Let me make sure that's right. There's 20 weeks left. They don't work on Sundays. I'm not even sure about Saturdays, to be honest with you. But let's say they're working Saturdays. So they need 4,500 cars divided by 20 weeks. That puts us at 225 cars a week, and divided by 6 car haulers a day. I'm sorry, it's 225 a week, and there's 6 days in the week. So that's 37.5 cars a day would need to be shipped out, and so you need 6.25 car haulers a day. If they're working 6 days a week for the rest of the year and not closing for holidays or Christmas or anything. So, yeah, it's obviously they're not ramped up, and towards the end of the year they may be producing more cars, but that's just going to mean that they're going to need 8 or 9 car haulers a day, as opposed to if you started right now they need 6.25. So we're gonna need to see car haulers almost every day. Now, oh, you see that? Ooh, I just noticed that. We've had some storms out here, and I just saw something right here. This entire fence line right here blown over. That's blown over too. Now, there's also sandbags on top of them. Maybe they were laid down. Not sure what the purpose of laying them down and putting sandbags is, unless they were nervous about them falling over. But let's just hope that did not hit anything. Usually the wind is not orderly like that. When it knocks stuff over, it's not in a straight line. So let's hope they tilted them over so that they wouldn't get blown over. But we see cars coming out. So is this one going for the car wash, or is he going for the test track? But we do see a lot of cars still out there, and their PDI seems to take a while for some of these cars, or they're missing parts. Let's see. Barry Short says they delivered a ton of cars in the past few weeks based on my small sample size of reservation holders and Lucid owners for him. More than I ever saw for what it's worth. Let's see. James Wright, I think this is a great sign from Lucid. If they're releasing something new, I'm inclined to think production is ramping up nicely. James, in my opinion, the two don't correlate. Just because they announce a new product doesn't mean anything is happening on the production line. Ben says Tesla should buy Lucid and run it as their luxury division, and then take all their intellectual property. Unfortunately, with the price of Lucid stock right now, it would cost quite a bit. And I don't think the Saudis are going to quite give up on their share of it. Day Trader says that Peter Rawlinson's an amazing engineer, but not fit to be a CEO. Daniel de Blasio, CEOs do not lie, they stretch the truth. Yeah. I think sometimes you can say something and you can be wrong, and that's not necessarily a lie. And other times you can just flat out lie. And I think all the CEOs are probably guilty of both. Let's see, Ben Panzer, why put into a 90,000 car a hard to come by glass and carpet when you can use the same material for a $250,000 car? Yeah, I don't know. Can't answer that question. Let's see. Jason says the Sapphire is probably the plan from the start. It probably was. They've probably been working on that for a very long time. I've got no doubt that re-engineering the entire drivetrain to have a third motor in it is not something that they decided to do last week. But I'm still going to just keep going back to production. Barry Short said, I think about 20 to 30 cars from that sample size, but he needs to recount. Is that 20, 30 cars a day, a week? Just kind of curious. And Daniel's reminding me about patience. He said it earlier also. I am a very patient person, but I also feel like the investors are being kept in the dark. So I just think more information needs to be shared. Instead of getting on the earnings call and talking about the awards that we've known about for 6 months and how great the car is, uh, give us more information on production. Not that there was just some logistics issues and quality issues. Because, I don't know, I think it's just a better way to go about it. I think the market would react more positively. Guillermo Contreras says, "Can Peter Rawlinson be compared to a dictator?" I haven't heard anything bad about people working with him. I haven't heard any real bad opinions about him being a bad person or anything. Uh, so I wouldn't say that. Peter gave us 4 fingers and 3 fingers. The last one will be the middle one. Oh, jeez. That's kind of funny. Barry Schwartz says 20 to 30 cars in the past 3 weeks or so. How many cars do you think that represents? If it's 20 to 30 on the forums that you're on, what kind of sampling size do you think? Is that 5% of all deliveries? Is that 10%? Guillermo says the tri-mode is faster than the plaid. You'll say, I'm sure it is. Or I'm sure it's pretty close. It's going to come down to a lot of different technical factors, engineering factors, plus weight and things like that. But one thing that they didn't mention on the Sapphire that I didn't see was range. I am kind of curious to see what the range would be on that car. I can't imagine they go with a bigger battery pack. You go with a bigger battery pack, you're going to be adding weight, a lot more weight, and I don't even think there's space left for it. You add a motor, you're using more power, so it's only reasonable to deduce that it's going to have less range. We're just going to go ahead and restart this as we're chit-chatting. There we go. If you guys weren't here earlier when we first went through this, feel free to throw out a question or something if you're curious about what we're looking at. So Barry Schwartz thinks it's that 20 to 30 is probably a sampling size of about 5%. So let's see. So that's what, 400 cars is my math right on that? If we're 20 cars, about 400 cars, 400 to 600 cars in the past 3 weeks or so. That would be good. If they were at that rate of 400 to 600 cars over the last 3 weeks, you go 4 weeks, you're looking over 500 to 700 cars, and ramping up with the last couple of months, increasing that number. I'd be happy. I'd be happy if that's if those are actual numbers. But unfortunately, we're not going to get any numbers until sometime, gosh, in November. Ooh, seems like a long way off. I might be wearing a long sleeve shirt by then. Doubt it, but might be. T says 6K sounds difficult. It does, unless we're actually at the numbers that Barry Schwartz thinks that we're at, which is based on his sampling size, could be 500 to 700 cars a month. Barry Schwartz said, I'd love a Lucid Air with under 400 horsepower, 1,000 mile range. Yeah, that would be awesome. I would totally be on board with that. I've got 2 EVs that have 250 miles of range, and it's not satisfactory. It's not where I'm comfortable with. Jason Pike says he still has that bail money. Get some shots inside the factory. Yeah, I think after they tackle us, they're going to take our cameras. Boss, there is a Nikola video coming out today. We'll be getting that uploaded after we're done here. Jerry's production, slightly better battery. The 3 motor only kicks in when used. I would assume that would be the way to go with that. Again, though, and is it like three motors that are like less powerful, less demanding than the 2 motors that are in there now? That way, you're not taking up as much space, and you're able to be more efficient. It could be that these are not. The 3rd motor is not just a clone of the other 2. Let's see. Money spent. Instead of the time and money spent on a $250,000 car, they should have been working on a $50,000 car. Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. The only problem with it is, well, the only problems with that is that they can't produce the cars, so it wouldn't matter either way, unless that rate of production is picking up. So if they can't make the cars, if they're limited to a certain run rate, it makes more sense to sell the more expensive cars where you might have more of a profit. Andromeda says Sapphire will be on every Lucid model. Yes, there will be a Gravity that comes in Sapphire, and whatever else might come out in the future will have a Sapphire. I don't like the whole idea of limiting the production run to whatever it is. I think the Dream Edition should have been open to however many people wanted it. It's really not going to make the car more valuable because they're limited. I don't think it is. So just make them. Many of the recent deliveries were produced in Q2 but not delivered. Mine was one of those. Delivers Monday. Congratulations, Peter. Ollie says his average is 30.34. Well, if you got some extra cash, now's the time to buy, because at least you could bring that average down. Let's see. Yeah, Barry Schwartz brought up the fact that things can slow down at any point. So next week they can deliver nothing for weeks. It's impossible to know. That is true. We're just going to keep monitoring the parking lot and seeing what's in there. But it's the car haulers we definitely want to see, because cars can always be moved around. Not intentionally to deceive us, but for whatever reason, and it makes it so it's kind of hard to count. Ben asks, when is the expansion expected to be completed? It will be completed Q1 of next year. Oh, Jack Goodman says, if you're going to handicap them, would you take Lucid or Rivian? That's tough. They both got a lot of backing with money, but Rivian could run out of money first. I think the Saudi PIF fund is probably going to be there for Lucid more than Rivian's cash burn, because their cash burn is intense. So I think I would take Lucid over Rivian. Peter says reservation was March of 2020, confirmed October 30th, 2021. VIN assigned May 13th. Car that is delivering is different VIN. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Jason Pike gives an update on our stats. 126 watching, 65 likes. Hit the like. And since he said that, we've gone up to 76. Yay us. All right, well, you can see a lot of these cars here. Let's go back just a little bit. Uh, you can see the superchargers over here. Hey, here's a interesting story. You guys know, you may or may not know that I've got a Turo business where I rent out a car. I had a guy rent my Hyundai Ioniq 5 from the airport here, and he went straight down to Lucid. He is a guy that was flown in to work on. He works on charging systems for cars, not the inside the car, but the chargers themselves. And he does repairs and different things like that. And he was flown in from California to come work at the Lucid site. And he's been here before. I don't know if he was setting up something new or doing a repair, but he was down there. And when we were flying last week, we saw our car there, the Hyundai Ioniq, sitting there while he was doing whatever he was doing down here. So it was just kind of funny to see that. So anyway, we've got a decent amount of cars here. There's probably, I think there's 22 in each one of these rows. There's a couple spots missing. So 44, that's 88. And then another 44. That would probably round off that 50. That's 130-ish. There's probably another 20 right here. 150. I'm just rough numbers. 100. We're zooming in there. Thank you, Jason and Barry, saying that they appreciate me. All right, so we're at 130. Call this 140. 170. Didn't count the section on the left. We got 5 cars right here in view. So there's probably close to 200 cars that don't have covers on them. I think that's probably a safe assumption. IDRS, how far is it in miles between Lucid and Nikola? I think it's around 25. So we go do the flyover at one factory, then we drive over to the other one. And then it's 50 miles back to our place. So yeah, there's got to be at least 200 cars that don't have covers on them. With covers, I don't know, a whole bunch. Somebody want to pause the video and take a look. Let us know. This is just a line of all the trailers. A lot of them say Lucid on them. Not sure why Lucid actually owns all those trailers. Probably shipping battery stuff from one factory to another because they don't produce all of the car here. The battery packs are assembled elsewhere. Yeah, happy Friday. Thank you. We did not see that stealth again. When we flew earlier this week, it wasn't there either. I expected it to be gone. Just because I don't think it was supposed to be left out. Jason says they have the trailers just because they look badass. That's why. All right. I want to see them hitch them up to one of the Lucid Airs. See if they can pull it around. That'd be cool. I would pull the bumper off a little bit. Anyway, outside here we still have some work going on with grading. Don't know what they're doing over here. That's just supposed to be a retention basin, but it's not full. Maybe they're not working on it because of all the rain that we've had. They moved the stuff to the event they had this week. That's possible too. Yeah, there's been a decent amount of rain. You can see a lot of the areas, the retention basins have water, standing water in them, which is great because that means they're working. But it's been a rainy monsoon season for us here in Arizona. That large crane is still there, partially disassembled. So, let's see, where are we at here? 35 minutes. We are going to be doing our next Nikola live stream early next week. Not sure what day. Just got to do it around the schedule. Um, and then Brian and I from Fast Charging. We're going to be doing our fast charging episode. Brian is from My Tesla Weekend on Tuesday at 4 p.m. We'll be doing an episode of that. It's episode like 43 or something like that. My Charge Tesla distracted me. He said no signs of any counter anti-drones again. It's been a while since we've had any type of issues. So hopefully that is not that's not going to ever happen again. What's the production capacity expected to increase to when the expansion is complete? I think when all of the expansion is complete, I think it's around 450,000 to 500,000 cars. And I think this one is 350,000, but I might be off on my numbers. So just wanted to say don't hold me to that number. Lucid Air's pulling trailers. Yeah, that would be pretty much a waste of a Lucid Air. But hey, it is what it is. All right, guys, we are getting ready to wrap this up. We're going to go for a couple more moments. Everyone's throwing out their averages. I don't know what my average is right now, so I couldn't tell you. It's in low 20s, I think. So hopefully that turns around at some point soon. Let's see. All right, and this is here. Last thing that we're going to look at is this stamping building real quick. We're doing a flyby of it. You can see that this building is taller than all the other buildings. I've talked about that before. They had to get a special permit to go over 90, to go to the 90 feet that they are. My Charge Tesla, how about the Dodge announcement of the new Dodge Charger EV and the Hornet EV? Well, that Charger was still or that Challenger looking car is still a concept car, even though they've made one. So we're still waiting for some sort of official announcement. The Hornet was just Dodge destroying the name of the Hornet from when it was a muscle car and putting it on an SUV. So that was sad. So is Lucid approved yet to sell in other countries? It feels like a car that could sell at over 40% of its models. Yeah. I believe that they can sell in other countries, definitely in Saudi Arabia. There are two of us deployed right now that really appreciate your long trips down there. Thank you for these videos. You're welcome. Oh, and that's right. Hornet's not an EV. It's a plug-in hybrid. And it's also full gas / plug-in hybrid. So it doesn't count. Plug-in hybrids are a joke. They should never be built. So they're definitely not going to count as far as I'm concerned in the EV world. Let's see. They are hiring delivery advisors in other countries. That's good information. That tells you that that is going to happen. They said one Hornet model will be coming in an EV. Yes, but they haven't announced anything at all. All they said was that there's going to be a plug-in version. And a plug-in version for an extra 10,000 grand. And when it comes down to it, you get 30 miles from being plugged in. Which, okay, if you got a 10-mile drive to work, yeah, that works. But one of the factors of plug-in hybrids that was done in some studies was they found that people don't plug them in, because you don't have to plug in a plug-in hybrid to ever use the electric part. You just never use it. It just doesn't do anything, and so you can forget to charge, and you're not gonna your car's still gonna work. So the wives are never gonna do it. Just saying. Jason Pike says the Hornet is a joke. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. I want to thank everyone again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it all. You guys got any more comments? Throw it in to the chat. If it's directed at me, I'll try and answer it. If not, maybe someone else will. But the chat will stay open for another couple minutes. I want to thank everyone for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.